removed from the Bureau Tuesday afternoon, with multiple sources saying he was escorted from his office after the Inspector General's scathing report. Aiton Goldman, Mr. Strzok's lawyer, confirmed in a statement that his client was escorted from the building as part of the ongoing examination process. And he wrote the Washington Times, according to Mr. Strzok was still employed by the FBI, though he had been demoted to a desk job in human resources since being dismissed from Robert Mueller's special counsel team. Peter Strzok was thrust back into the national headlines this week after the IG report revealed more explosive anti-Trump text messages, one going so far as to say he will stop the Trump presidency. Also in the news, former FBI boss James Comey is officially under criminal investigation by the DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz, revealed on Monday. According to the IG, Comey is being investigated for internationally and maliciously leaking classified memos to the press immediately following his firing by the president. Comey said he did not expect a report on his handling of the classified information because that's frivolous. I don't happen to think that it is frivolous, asked Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. Question number 1, Mr. Horowitz, are you investigating the handling of his memo, and does that include the classified issues? And should Mr. Comey expect a report when it's complete? That's what Grassley asked him. We received a referral on that from the FBI. We are handling that referral, and we will issue a report when the matter is complete. There's that word again, matter. Consistent with the law and rules, that are a report that's consistent and takes those into account, Horowitz responded.
Huge breaking news. The House Judiciary Committee announced they will be issuing a subpoena to anti-Trump FBI agent Peter Strzok. Now, the process of the entire state being held accountable is now just beginning. All of this comes as the Inspector General Michael Horowitz and the FBI Director Christopher Wray appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee today in order to explain Thursday's 500-plus page IG report. Now, days after these findings were released, and we are still uncovering more shocking instances of what is rampant bias, rampant abuse of power at the highest levels of the FBI. And still, Horowitz is somehow claiming the bias didn't impact the Clinton investigation or the Mueller witch hunt, despite example after example of shocking Trump hatred, Hillary love, by the lead investigators that were the same in both cases. Now, we're going to show you why Horowitz is dead wrong and how a two-tiered system of justice in this country sadly is alive and well. And we'll show you why Robert Mueller must now literally wrap up what was an incredibly flawed investigation from day one, conducted by the same high-ranking corrupt investigators who gave Hillary Clinton that get-out-of-jail-free card. And also breaking tonight, the IG confirmed today James Comey, we warned him, he's under investigation for mishandling classified information, and we'll explain why he is in serious legal trouble. And the Inspector General Michael Horowitz has a lot of explaining to do. After 18 months of work, his report was released last Thursday, and it shows the huge, massive missteps, corruption, mistakes surrounding the FBI and the Department of Justice during the so-called Clinton investigation, including example after example, how the fix was in from the get-go to help Hillary Clinton and literally destroy then-candidate Donald Trump. However, the IG did not make prosecutorial conclusions about the obvious felonies that Hillary committed and was totally and unjustly exonerated from. Now, the facts are actually, as we have been telling you from the get-go, and they are irrefutable. Mishandling classified top-secret information on a private server, obstructing justice, deleting 33,000 subpoenaed emails, acid washing the hard drive with bleach pit, and having aides destroy evidence devices with a hammer. Oh, and removing SIM cards. Any other American, all of you out there, would have been locked up, thrown in prison for exactly what Hillary Clinton did. Now, still, the IG report did not fault the FBI's decision to clear Clinton of all charges. What they really decided is, quote, not to second guess the conclusions, while they in fact presented what is now a mountain of evidence proving the guilt. And sadly, the swamp protects the swamp. It is now clear if Hillary Rodham Clinton had a real investigation, she would have been indicted. Now, politics at the highest level of the FBI sadly prevented all of that. Let's, for example, break things down and these findings down and see if any reasonable person would ever make the conclusion that political bias did not play a major role inside the FBI. Let's look at this text. August 8th, 2016, high-ranking FBI attorney Lisa Page and her colleague, boyfriend, Peter Strzok, who was the lead investigator in the Clinton case. Now, Lisa Page, she writes, "Trump's not ever going to become president, right?" Strzok responds, quote, No, he's not. We will stop it." And then Lisa Page called Trump an enormous, expletive. Add to that the list of insults both Page and Strzok lobbed against Donald Trump. He's an idiot, he's a menace, he's a lonesome human being, and so much more. Remember, all of this is from the lead investigator and the lead FBI attorney. But the bias didn't stop with them. Look at this message from yet another high-ranking agent on this case. Trump's supporters are all poor to middle class, uneducated, lazy POSs that think that he will magically grant them jobs for doing nothing. And 4 months before the election, one agent who actually interviewed Hillary Clinton called her the president in a message to a colleague and said, quote, "Trump can't win." And then on October 28, 2016, shortly after Comey announced that he would be reopening the Clinton investigation, while another unnamed FBI attorney sent an instant message to a fellow FBI employee, and that read, "I'm clinging to small pockets of happiness in the dark times of the Republic's destruction." And following Trump's election victory, that same FBI attorney sent an instant message, and that read, quote, "I am numb," with a fellow employee responding, "I can't stop crying." And get this, according to the IG report, quote, "Agents involved in the Clinton Foundation investigation were instructed to take no overt investigative steps prior to the election." Would you get that treatment? Now, this, of course, as the report found that the FBI was actually intimidated by Clinton's high-ranking legal team. And the report also found that high-ranking DOJ officials tried to get a job for his son in the Clinton campaign, all while sharing, leaking case information about the ongoing server investigation to Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. It's unbelievable. And by the way, believe it or not, there's so much more. Listen to what Senator Lindsey Graham laid out at today's hearing. He was on fire. Take a look.
Now, this was an email sent in February 2016 from Page to McCabe. "Hey, you've surely already considered this, but in my view, our best reason to hold the line at 2 and 2, 2 agents and 2 prosecutors, is she might be our next president." How did you feel about that?
We were concerned about it, and we lay out here why we were concerned.
Okay, let's keep talking about this interview. One of the FBI agents in the interview said on Election Day to another FBI agent, "You should know that I'm with her." Now, her was Clinton, right?
Correct.
How do you feel about that?
Very concerned.
Okay, eventually very concerned gets to be enough already. I'm glad you found what you found, Mr. Horowitz. I'm not buying that the Clinton email investigation was on the up and up.
I'm not buying it either. Still think political bias didn't play a role in the FBI's decisions? Now, don't forget, at the center of all of this is FBI Trump-hating agent Peter Strzok. Now, he's now being subpoenaed by the House Judiciary Committee in order to better determine why the FBI and the DOJ withheld many of his anti-Trump texts. We still haven't gotten them all. Remember, he was the lead FBI agent in the Hillary Clinton investigation. He's the one that vowed to stop a Trump presidency in a text with his girlfriend, Lisa Page. And according to the IG report, Page was a high-ranking FBI attorney who was used by Andrew McCabe. Yeah, that Andrew McCabe, of course, to bypass the FBI's chain of command, and he got to monitor the Clinton investigation. We have long reported about McCabe's Democratic bias. Next, we knew that Peter Strzok, Andrew Weissman, Jeannie Ray, those names sound familiar? And so many of all these anti-Trump Democratic donors all tapped the same people to finish the exoneration of Hillary and put the fix in, and then tapped by Robert Mueller for his Trump-Russia witch hunt. Now, in fact, many of those same agents that cleared Hillary, they were then immediately appointed to investigate Trump. Now, the very agents just spewing hatred about Trump, vowing to stop his presidency, mocking Trump supporters, the same people tapped to investigate Trump. A move even questioned by the Inspector General, which means that the entire Russia investigation from the get-go was as corrupt as the Hillary cover-up, and it was the case from day one. Now, there's a very definition itself right there of what I've been saying, a two-tier justice system, no equal justice under the law or equal application of our laws. Now, if true justice had prevailed, if Hillary Clinton got indicted as she should have in the fall of 2016, the electoral process would have been turned on its head. The deep state's choice for president would be out of the race. Trump would actually be the president without any of this Mueller garbage that he's had to deal with almost his entire presidency. And that's why Hillary Clinton, she got the white glove treatment by these investigators, openly rooting for her to win the election. President Trump, everyone associated with him, they got the sledgehammer thrown down by the very same people that gave Hillary a pass.
It is starting to get really, really, really juicy up in here, everybody. The tables has turned on them. Strzok, thinking he was some kind of a superhero and was going to stand up for America and make sure that Trump wasn't going to become president, has now fully been exposed. And so has James Comey, and so has Hillary, and so has every single crony that is a part of this whole entire two-tier justice system. They're all being exposed right now. They are in one of the most deepest panic states ever. They're trying to do whatever they can to try to stop this. But it's too late, and we're too deep into it now. They just wanted to investigate this Trump-Russia thing, didn't they? They just had to do it, didn't they? Well, this just opened up a whole can of worms that they cannot even deal with now. And it's exposing and showing the ugly heads of the swamp creatures that Trump has been trying to tell the world about. This is just getting really, really good now. I mean, just think about it, how pissed we all are with all the tax money that's been going off on the stupid Trump-Russia investigation, which we all knew was a witch hunt, and everything, knowing that we actually had real physical evidence of all the crimes that Hillary committed, and she's just walking free right now. Yet, we're going to go off some drunken guy's statement that Trump had collusion with Russia, and we're going to actually use every single bit of DOJ and FBI power that we have to try to find any little bit of evidence that you might be able to match with that? Are you serious? This is all just blowing up in their faces right now.
We read this report, we're reminded of Jim Comey's decision to hold a July 5th press conference and appropriate the charging decision away from the prosecutors. We see Jim Comey drafting an exoneration memo before important witnesses, like the target, were even interviewed. Ironically, this inspector general has been accused of softening or watering down his report, when the reality is it was Jim Comey who softened and watered down his press release announcing no charges against Secretary Clinton. We see Jim Comey and Jim Comey alone deciding which DOJ policies to follow and which to ignore. We see Jim Comey and Jim Comey alone deciding whether there is sufficient evidence to support each and every element of an offense. We see Jim Comey and Jim Comey alone deciding whether to send a letter to Congress in the throes of a looming election. Now, his justification for this is that he did not have confidence in the objectivity of Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Whether it was her asking him to refer to this case as a matter rather than an investigation, or her meeting with Bill Clinton while Hillary Clinton was under investigation, or the matter he has alluded to but claims he cannot discuss publicly, clearly Jim Comey had lost confidence in the DOJ to handle the case in a way worthy of public trust. But that leads us to the one thing we did not see Jim Comey do, which was take any steps to spur the appointment of special counsel in the Hillary Clinton investigation. When he lost confidence in the Trump Justice Department, he memorialized private conversations, he leaked them, and he admitted he did so to spur the appointment of special counsel because he didn't trust the career prosecutors at the Department of Justice. When he lost confidence in the Obama Justice Department, he didn't make special memos. He didn't share them with his law professor friends. He didn't leak the information. He didn't lift a finger to get special prosecutor. Instead, he appointed himself FBI director, attorney general, special counsel, lead investigator, and the general arbiter of what is good and right in the world, according to him. And one of the last times I spoke with Director Comey was in a committee hearing. We had a pointed exchange on what I thought was the FBI making decisions based in part on politics. And he, in his typically sanctimonious way, told me that he disagreed. He said the men and women of the FBI do not, quote, give a hoot about politics. Unfortunately, and I use that word intentionally, unfortunately, he was dead wrong. There were agents and attorneys at the FBI who gave a lot more than a hoot about politics. There's Andy McCabe, the former deputy director and acting director of the FBI, an agency which investigates and charges others for making false statements, himself accused of making false statements and showing a lack of candor. I think I recall, perhaps someone can correct me, but I think I recall some of my Democrat colleagues falling over themselves to offer a job to Andy McCabe when he was let go for making false statements and for a lack of candor. But those same colleagues apparently weren't hiring. They didn't have any openings when others in a related investigation called Russia were charged with the same offense. There were FBI agents and attorneys who decided to prejudge the outcome of the Hillary Clinton case before the investigation ended. I want you to let that sink in for a second. They prejudged the outcome of the Hillary Clinton investigation before the investigation ended, and these exact same FBI agents and attorneys prejudged the outcome of the Russia investigation before it even began. If prejudging the outcome of an investigation before it ends and prejudging the outcome of an investigation before it begins is not evidence of outcome determinative bias, for the life of me, I don't know what would be. That is textbook bias. It is quite literally the definition of bias, allowing something other than the facts to determine your decision. These agents were calling her president before she was even interviewed. They were calling for the end of the Trump campaign before the investigation even began. They were calling for impeachment simply because he happened to be elected. That is bias. And with all due respect, it's the FBI's job, not mine, to prove that bias can ever be harmless. Because I don't agree. I think bias is always harmful.
Please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and comment below, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace! And don't forget to click the notification bell